So welcome back to this topic on conversational AI. We are just going to continue from where we stopped in our previous lecture. And you remember in our previous lecture, we started building our conversational agent using Dialogflow, right? We created an agent called PizzaBot, which is a chatbot that orders pizza for a user. Then in our PizzaBot, we look at two major things. The intent, which just as the name implies, is the intention of the user, right? So the first intention of the user might be to order pizza, right? So we created an order pizza intent, and we provided some couple of training phrases. So I showed you guys some best practices. I told you that your training phrase, while providing a training phrase, you can provide it, you can make it generic or specific, right? So when we say a training phrase is generic, it simply means maybe a user comes and says, I would want a pizza, for instance, or I need a pizza. That's in a general sense, right? See, in a broader sense. So this will prompt your agent to request for some specific parameters like the topping of the pizza and the size of the pizza and so much more. Then when we talk about specific, we mean in the sense that a user comes in and says, I would like 2 slices of pizza, or I would like 2 slices of chicken pizza, right? That's specific. So while providing your training phrases, you try to provide your training phrase in a general form and in a specific form, right? And also remember, the more training phrases you provide, the smarter your agent becomes, right? Okay, so now we also looked at entities, which are the key parameters in a user's request, okay, like the pizza toppings, the size of the pizza, and the person's name, and so much more. Sorry about this. Okay, so but you have observed that just creating an intent is not enough. Also, having so many intents in your agent isn't what's going to make your agent smart, right? So we need to see how to connect different intents together so that our agent will better communicate with a user. And to achieve that, we make use of context. Okay, context is the linking chain between intents, right? Also, context is a way your agent keep track of where the user is at the conversation. For instance, if a user says, I will need a pizza, please, okay, your agent might respond, okay, what are the toppings, what are the size, and when the user provides that, the agent will simply say, okay, your order for so and so has been placed. But that is not how things work in real life, right? So your agent normally should say, okay, you've made so and so request, can you confirm this? And if the user says yes or no, that should trigger another intent. But we cannot achieve that now because we've not done context. So in this lecture, I'm going to show you how to build a good agent, a better agent, or how to make this agent smarter by making use of context, okay? Then we are also going to look at how to connect our agent to business knowledge, okay? Connecting your Dialogflow agent to answer some of the frequently asked questions in your business. Then finally, we are going to see how to enable small talks in our agent so as to allow our agent communicate with user in a very informal way. Like you can say, the user can say, hello, how are you today? Your agent will be willing to, should be able to reply the user, okay? So let's get started. In our previous lecture, we created this intent, the order pizza intent, and provided some training phrases, right? I told you to add more, right? You should add more. So the more training phrases provide, the more smart your agents will be. So today we are going to be everything we're going to be doing, we've been doing so far and we'll continue doing, is to try to relate this to real world scenario. Okay, so what are some of the things, what are some of the parameters an agent should request while ordering a pizza for a user? Okay, the first one, quite alright, is the topping in the pizza. Okay, second one, we can have the size of the pizza, but that's not enough. Okay, so let's take for instance the user makes an order. How are you going to serve the user? You have to take note of the name and maybe probably the phone number in case you have to deliver the pizza to the person, right? So we are going to create a couple of parameters. And now when I say parameters, of course, you know I'm talking about entities now. Okay, and I explained entity for you in the previous lecture. Okay, they are the key parameters. And in Dialogflow we have two major type of entities. We have the custom entities, which are the ones you create for yourself, right? Then we have the system entities, which are inbuilt in Dialogflow. So we are going to create a couple of parameters or entities. Okay, we can create for the number of pizza the user wants. Okay, so and I'm going to make it required, so I'm going to check this box first. So since I'm using system entity now, there's no need for me to go to this place and create an entity, right? So I can just call it. Okay, so I'm going to create a system entity for the number of pizza number. Okay, so how do you call system entity? System entity always starts with the at 6, right? Then dot the name of the entity. So I can say at 6 dot the name of the entity should be number, right? Because the number of pizza should be number, right? So, and for easy reference, so that we can call this anytime, we can assign a value to it by using a $sign and the name here, which is number. Okay, then I'm going to declare a prompt which will appear once a user makes a request to say, okay, how many pizza would you like, for instance. So in the prompt I'm going to say how many, so simple and short, how many. Okay, so so once it's done, we'll close this. I'm going to add a couple more. So the next one I'm going to add is the name of the user. You know, in our next lecture we're going to see how to store all these parameters in a database, okay, which is ideal in a normal business setting, right? So all these are required if you want to take action on the request of the user, right? So I'm going to create another one for name. So now feel free to think of any other parameters you think is necessary. Okay, so there's no limit to creating some parameters, but just try not to bore your users with so much question, right? So I'm going to say at, so this name now, of course name cannot be integer, so there is a system entity called any, this is it, okay, which matches anything entirely, okay, be it number, alphabet, and so much more. So I'm going to say system.any. Then for easy reference, I'm going to put a $sign, put a $sign and call the parameter name, which is name here. So I'm also going to declare a prompt. So please, okay, the prompt I'm going to say, please what is please tell me your name. Okay, so simple. So just go ahead and close this. Then finally, remember I told you you can add more if you think it's necessary. So for me, I'm going to create one more, which is for the phone number in case the user makes a request and you want to deliver the pizza to the user. Human agent can get the data and then call the user, okay, to know the location and the payment method and stuff. So I'm going to say phone number is going to be the last one. So there is a system entity for phone number, which is sys phone number. Sys dot phone number. This is it. So you can see everything is here. Okay, I'm going to make it easy for me, so by specifying a value for it. So this is going to be phone, and I'm going to declare a prompt as well. Please, now you can feel free to change any of these. Okay, these are just my my own personal way to write this. Okay, so I can say please enter your phone number, your phone number. Okay, so alright, now we're done with the parameter aspect. So you might want to ask, why is some of these boxes checked and why is the others not checked, right? So the reason, you can see from the header here, you have is list. What this means is this could be in a list form. For instance, a user might say, I would like chicken and beef pizza. Okay, that will now form a list of toppings. Okay, that's why this is checked. So the size, I don't know, could you have two sizes? So I'm going to uncheck this. Okay, so feel free to check any other one you feel could be in a list form. Okay, so alright, then here comes the last part for this place. So here, because I'm not going to maybe end here, right? I need to say, okay, I need to prompt the user to confirm whether this is actually what he or she wants, right? So it means I'm going to use context to link this to another intent, which is the confirmation intent. Okay, so don't worry if you don't grab it now, you're going to understand it in a few minutes. So I'm going to say good, okay, great. I can say great, great. Then I can call the person's name just to make it more fun. I can say great, then the name of the person, name, comma. So I can say you just requested, or you just ordered. So I can arrange this in such a way that it makes sense. You just ordered 5, so I'm going to say the size comes first. No, the number comes first. Number 5 slice. So the size now comes next. Size of beef pizza. So the topping comes next. Pizza. then I can say, is that correct? So I'll simply ask the question, is that correct? Okay, so this is simply a yes or no answer, but of course, trust me, you don't know what a user would say. So the user can say, instead of yes or no, you can say, great, awesome, yes, actually, can say many things that you wouldn't expect. So to avoid this kind of problem, to avoid our agent returning to default fallback intent, we try to provide some training phrases to account for anything the user might say. So we'll go ahead and save this. Okay, so always remember to save. So go ahead and save this. So we're gonna take a couple of seconds. Okay, so once it's saving, we can create new intent. So you can click on the plus button here to create another intent. Now there are many intents you can create. For instance, the user might say, okay, what do you have? You get, the user might say, okay, what are the things you have? Like, what are the different toppings you have? What are some of the sizes you have? You can create an intent for that, or you can add it as one of your frequently asked questions in your website, then connect your agent to that website. So I'm going to show you how to do that. For that reason, I'm not going to create an intent for, let's say, timing, where the user would normally ask, okay, when are you open, or what are the things that are available here. So I'm going to leave that to the knowledge connector, which I'm going to show you later on. So for now, I'm going to just create the item.confirm. I can call it item.confirm, so feel free to call yours anything. So item.confirm intent, right? So now what we're going to be doing differently here is we are going to provide a context. Like I told you, context in Dialogflow is simply the linking chain between intents. Okay, or you can also say that content is just the way your agent keeps track of where the user is in a conversation. And this is not just related to just building conversational agents. It also is the same in our normal human to human communication. Okay, for instance, you don't expect to walk up to a group of people that are talking and expect to immediately understand what they are talking about. Okay, so you need to settle down and maybe ask some couple of questions to understand the context of their discussion. Okay, so we're going to do that. So if you see here, we have two boxes. The first one is to add your input context, and the second one is to add your output context. Okay, so for the input context, you create an input context for the intent you are creating. Okay, so for this intent now, I can decide to call the input context confirm. Okay, so when you create an input context, it automatically give you back as an output context. So we're going to leave this now. Okay, so but if you provide this particular context to another intent as output context, right? So it's going to connect the agent, the intent to this one. So if the other intent is triggered, you will provide this one as an option for further solution to the user's problem. I know this might seem complex now, but you are going to see it as I do it. So just follow. Okay, so here you have, this is called a lifespan. Okay, this is the, you can look at it as iterations, the number of iteration that this will be held valid. Okay, so you can decide to change this or increase this. So I'm going to leave it as this for now. Okay, so I would have deleted this, but I'm going to leave it like this so as not to confuse you further. So remember, this is the confirm intent. Okay, so we can provide some training phrases like, now what are the different ways a user might use to confirm a request. For instance, he might say yes, because in our previous intent we said, is that correct? Okay, so the user might say correct. For instance, he might say, he or she now might say yes, he might say yep, he might say yeah. For instance, you can also say of course, yeah, of course. Okay, so he might say yeah. So I think, yeah, so we'll end here. So you can add more if you think there are more you should add. Okay, so we've provided the training phrases. So now this confirm can be in two forms. So the user might say confirm, it can be in yes form, like you can see this is a yes form of answer. It can be in no form, so we try to differentiate it. So give me a moment. Okay, so we are going to make this one the positive confirmation. Okay, so that yes, I want to confirm that I made so and so orders. Now we are going to do something very interesting here. So in the parameters, we are going to list the same parameters we used in the previous intent, but we are going to do something different. Okay, so we are going to say okay, so let's say I call this, okay, let's call it confirm, or we can call it item for easy use, right? So we can call it item. Okay, so all right, now so here the first parameter, of course, is the pizza toppings. Okay, so remember the capitalization. So this is also case sensitive. Okay, so pizza underscore topping, and this is a custom entity, which is the pizza topping. Okay, this is it, and the parameter is still the same thing, the dollar sign pizza topping, dollar sign pizza underscore topping. Okay, all right, so this is where the interesting thing now is, right? So instead of declaring, of course, we made this required, that means we need this, right? So instead of saying, okay, let's make a prompt, we can we can make use of the default value from the other intent. Okay, so how do we do that? Very easy. First of all, we put a hash, then we use the context name, which is item. Okay, item, item, then dot the name of the parameter. So in this case, the parameter is pizza underscore topping. Like I said, you have to make sure the capitalization is right so you don't have errors. So once you do this, you close. So I'm going to pause this video because we have a lot to cover. So I'm going to repeat the same task. Okay, let me just do one more, then I'll pause the video for the rest. So the next one is the size. So, and this is a custom entity which is at size. Okay, size. So we have to also say the value, which is $, the size. Then we make use of the default value from the previous intent. Okay. What is happening? Go. Okay, so first put a hash, then use item, which is the context name, then the dot the name of the parameter, which in this case is size. So simple. So this will extract the parameters which the users entered in the previous intent. So I'm going to pause this video now and fill the rest for the remaining 3 parameters. Then we come back and set our response. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, so I've done all this. Okay, just the same way I showed you how to do the other ones. Okay, so I've done that for number, for name, and for phone number. Then I also went ahead to provide a response, okay, which simply says thank you so much. Then we link this to the name of the user. Okay, then we say our human agent will call you soon via your phone number. Remember, your agent is going to prompt the user to provide his phone number. Then we'll simply say thank you for shopping with us today. So you might decide to end here, or you can say would you like any other thing? For instance, we might have an intent for drinks. Okay, so you can say would you like any other thing like drinks and stuff. So but we're going to stop here for now. At least you have the concept. Okay, you understand the concept of this thing. So using this knowledge, you can create as many intents as you want. Okay, so remember to save, very important. So we can change this slide span for confirm to 1. Okay, so a user can only confirm once, or you can change it to two times, or as many as possible. But you know, if you test this thing via your simulator here, it still won't work because we've not provided our context, that this item context, as the output context for our order pizza. Okay, so we're going to do that. So as not to confuse you, let me do something. We are going to remove the output context here, or we can leave it. Okay, so because we are going to create another context for no, so it is ideal for us to have the same context name for both the yes and no part. So when you save this, we can go back to our order pizza intent and provide the item context as the output context there. Okay, so this is taking so much time. Wait. Okay, just give me a couple of seconds. Okay, so Once you go to your other pizza intent, you go to context and provide this one as your attribute context. Sorry, item. Type in attribute. So we provide the item context as our attribute context here. Remember, okay, the confirm intent is what will follow the other pizza, just for a user to confirm his or her request, right? So for us to do that, we need to link the confirm intent to this other pizza intent, and the best way to do that is to provide a context. Okay, so we defined an input context for our confirm intent and provide that same context as the attribute context here. So you're going to see how it works in a second. So I'm going to say item, then I click on save. System is slow, so let's make it once. Let's make it once, so you save. So I've provided the item context as the attribute context for the other pizza intent, and I've saved my intent. So let's go ahead and try our agent this time. So we can start by saying hi, so and see what happens. So you can see the default fallback intent is triggered, so you can see anything that is happening here. Okay, you can see the action, which is input.welcome. So how can I help you today? So I can say I would really use a pizza right now. Use a pizza right now. Okay, so go ahead and execute this. So you see, great, what topping would you like in your pizza? So we can say, so you can see all the context here. So you can see other pizza dialog context. So we can say I would like beef, sorry, beef. So okay, would you like a slice or a full pie? So if you go down, you are going to see a place for the parameters, where all the parameters have been assigned. So you can see this one has been assigned to beef, so we are looking for the rest, like the size, which is a slice or a full pie. So I would go with slice. Let's go with slice. Okay, so remember, you can specify, I asked you to kind of Google the different sizes of pizza. Okay, so you fill it on your size entity. Okay, so how many, which is now prompting the number intent, we can say 5. I don't know why this system is slow. So many things are running here. Okay, so okay, so please tell me your name. So my name is Charles. Let's say my name is Charles. So before I know the next thing is going to be your phone number, so I'm not going to wait. I'm going to just go ahead and type in some random phone numbers here. So let's count 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. So okay, please enter your phone number. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. This is correct. So go ahead and execute. Okay, you can see, Great Charles, you just ordered 5 slices of beef pizza. Is that correct? So let's go to our parameters and see whether all of them were captured. So you can see our name was captured, size was captured, the topping and the number, and my phone number was also captured. So in this, by the time we get to next week's lecture where we store this in the database, you see this is cool, right? So you can just contact the user and deliver the stuff. So now one thing I want you to notice is this thing here. So by the time it says Great Charles, you've ordered so and so, you can see this item contest is triggered. So it's hoping for a yes or no answer, right? Or some of the training phrases that we provided. Okay, so by the time you add anything, it's going to exit this intent entirely and go to the confirm intent. So let's say yes, for instance, and see what we get. Yes. Okay, let's give it time. Now there's so much to do today. Okay, so you can see once you said yes, like I told you, he exited this and triggered the item confirm yes intent, okay, by saying okay, thank you so much, item name. So I'm going to make some changes here. I think I didn't put a hash here, so that's why it didn't capture the name. Human agent will call you soon via your phone number. So this is the phone number the user provided. Thank you for shopping with us today. So this is very important, and you cannot overestimate the importance of context. Okay, so like I told you, this, let me reiterate. So we created an intent, which is the order pizza intent, right? So once the user says I want to order a pizza, this intent is triggered, right? And now your agent will prompt your user to enter some particular parameters like the toppings in the pizza, the size, the name of the user, the phone number, the number of slices of the full pie, and so much more. So once the user enters all those stuff, a response will be generated telling the user to confirm whether this was actually what you ordered. So now the response will, of course, you need to match it to another intent, right? So we created another intent called the item confirm yes intent. Okay, so which simply confirms the user's request if it is yes. So we can create another one for no, but we're going to skip that for now, okay, until we finish the other important things. At least you've gotten the whole idea of how this works. So that's basically it for now. So the next thing I'm going to show you is how to connect your agent to answer some business questions from your website preferably. So we are going to use the PAU site. So I'm just going to say PAU Atlantic University. So the frequently asked questions. Okay, so we'll see how to connect the frequently asked questions in our site to our agent, so our agent can answer some of the questions a user might have about PAU. Okay, so let me pause this until it loads. This is taking time. So once you search it on Google, just click on this. So this is the FAQ section. So let's pause this again. Alright, so this is the FAQ section in our site. So you can see some of the questions, like what is the minimum entry qualifications, okay, and so this is the question, this is the answer to the question, and so there are so much more. So I want to link this to our agent to see, so that a user can ask any of these questions in our agent. So let's do that. To do that, we are going to make use of the knowledge connector. Okay, now the knowledge connector is still in beta mode. Okay, so meaning it is still under construction, if I should use that term. Okay, so but before you can use any of these items here that are in beta mode, we need to enable the beta mode in our agent. So you toggle on this gear icon, click on it. Okay, this will open up the setting for our agent. So once it opens up, we are going to enable the beta mode, so we can use any of the beta mode items that are available in Dialogflow. So if you go down here, so you're going to see it, enable features and API, enable beta features and API. So you toggle this. So once you toggle this, you click on save to make sure everything is saved. Now we have a couple of many things here. We are not going to look at all of them now. Okay, we are going to look at them in our last class, which is in next week's lecture. We are going to see speech, okay, and other sentiment analysis, how to export and import your agent. Okay, like now as we are creating this agent, I can export it to my system, okay, and save it as a zip file, and I can also collect your agent, import it to my Dialogflow, and make some few modifications if I want. So let's go to our knowledge connector. So we want to get the FAQ, the frequently asked questions from the PAU site. Okay, so we go to the knowledge connector. So once you come here, you click on create knowledge base. Oh, my internet is so slow. Oh man. Okay, so I'm going to call this KB for short. So you call it anything, knowledge base KB. So once you do that, you click on save. So you save this. Okay, so once you've created it, you click on create first one. So I don't know why this is like this, but it seems maybe the Google team have more plans for this. So I'm going to call this PAU FAQ. Okay, FAQ, just call it anything you want. So the knowledge type is going to be FAQ. So we have another one, extractive question answering. So we're going to go with FAQ. So we have the meme type. So you have two options here. So to provide a HTML document, or to provide a CSV. So of course you know what CSV is, okay? So but we are going to make use of HTML because what we are interested in is in HTML form. So we specify the URL, Okay, just make sure you navigate to your FAQ. So once you see this, copy everything, Control C, go to your agent. So you come here and paste. So once you pasted it, you click on create. Okay. Okay, so once you've created it, you're going to see it here. Okay, so the next thing you're going to do is to quickly click on this to enable automated response. So it's already here. So if you want to view the details, you can click here, or you can also enable this and click here. Okay, so you see the details. As it's loading, let's look at one question I have. So we can say, can I defer my admissions? Okay, we might not even ask the question in full. We can say, can I defer my admission? So let's hold on a bit. Okay, so I'm going to click on save. So you can see how these questions here and answer are well arranged here. So once you're okay, just click on save to save this. Okay, so once you've saved it, let's try to test our agent by asking, can I defer my admissions? Okay, so let's go ahead and ask. Okay, so something is not, you can see it matches this, so but we didn't do something. We have to enable this. So let's go back to our knowledge connector. And so once you get to your knowledge connector, click on this. So I think we'll try to add the response again. Just click on this. You don't need to add anything. It's already generated for you. So click on save. I think that's where we mixed it. So click on save. So okay, now once it is saved, let's try it again. We can ask the same question. Just copy this and paste. So let's see. Why is this taking so much time? Okay, so you can see we ask our agent, can I defer my admission? And you can see the response, yes, but there will be a deferment fee. So this is cool. That means we can ask, the user can ask our agent questions relating to the institutions and more. So the next thing I want to quickly show you is how to enable the small talk. So you go down here, you're going to see a small talk. Okay, so small talk enables your agent to better interact with your user by maybe saying things like I like you, or do you like me, and so many things like good to know you, nice to see you, and so much more. So you're going to see it soon. So you click on the small talk. So once it opens, we enable small talk. That's all. So you can configure it. I'm going to show you soon. Okay, so uh, you just once you click on small talk, you click on enable. So here you can customize your small talk. So it's saving. So once it's saved, we can text it. So you can see some of the a brief example. A user says, "How are you?" and the agent says, "Wonderful as always. Thanks for asking." The user can say, "You're so sweet," and the agent will reply, "Thanks. The feeling is mutual." So this is already pre-built in Dialogflow. Okay, this really saves us the stress of trying to create an intent to make small talk with a user, which is going to be a tedious task for us to do. So we can leverage on this small talk and channel our energy on other things like trying to create better user experience by linking our intents using context. Okay, so once it is saved, we are ready to text our agent. So we can say, "How are you today?" Okay, we can say, "Who are you?" Who are you, for instance? Who are you? Okay, so let's see. Originally, this would have triggered a default fallback intent saying, "Sorry, I don't understand what you're saying," and so many things. But this one now, once you don't match any available intent, it simply goes to the small talk and gives you a reply. So you can see the response. "Think of me as a virtual assistant." So we can customize it by going here about your agent. You can do for courtesy, you can do for so many more. As you go down, you're going to see more of this. So we can customize our agent. Who are you? We can say, we can just copy this but add something extra. We can say, come here and paste. So think of me as your visual agent. My name is Pizzabot. Pizzabot. How can I help you today? So something simple and straightforward. So you can customize this however way you want. Like, how old are you? If you go down, you're going to see more. Like, can you get smarter? So you can customize your own response if you want to, if you have the time. Okay, so so there's so much more. So by the time you scroll down, you're going to see many others. So because of time, I'm just going to save this. Okay, so save this, then I think we just recap what we've learned today and try to deploy it, and that's all. So once you've saved it, we can try it by asking, "Who are you?" Who are you? So while we wait, we can go back to our intent so as to recap what we've learned today. Okay, so you can see the response now. Who are you? And you see think of me as a visual assistant. My name is Caesar, but how can I help you today? So which is what we customized. So let's recap what we learned today. So in our previous lecture, we created an intent called order pizza, right? So this takes a user's order for pizza, but for us to taking orders is not enough. We need to confirm what the user ordered, right? So we created another intent, which is the confirm intent yes. Okay, so this is not the only one we're going to create, so you have to create the second one, okay, which will simply match the no part. So in the no part, I'm going to show you, because we don't have time again today, so I'm going to show you in the next class or in our chat session, okay, how to create this one. If you have questions, please do well to let me know. So we created an intent, which is the item confirm yes, okay. So and for us to link this intent to our order pizza intent, we need to make use of context, okay. So after creating this, we provided an input context, which is called item, okay, and which will automatically make it an output context. Wait, give me a moment. Okay, so I think it's best I do one more, okay. So I have to apologize, this lecture is going to be longer than normal, okay, but the whole idea is that you understand what we're trying to do, okay. So once you understand the concept, you can carry it out as many as possible. So we've created an intent, which is the item confirm yes, which matches the user's confirmation, okay. So we provided some training phrases on how a user can confirm an item using yes, okay. So we said yes, of course, yeah, and so many others. So for this thing to work, okay, we matched these parameters to the previous request from our order pizza intent, okay, by going to this place and setting as default. I think there is one that doesn't really work well, so what was it? Was it the name? Yeah, I think it's the name. So let's try to fix it. So you go to this place, to the default value. Yeah, I think this is it. So for you to make use of the previous default value provided by your user, you come here, put a hash sorry, put a hash, then the context name dot the parameter name. So it's very easy. So we are going to do one more and it's going to be all clear. So don't forget to save. So let's try to do one more and see. So let me pause this. Okay, so now, so as not to confuse you, you can just come here and delete the output context from the confirm here. So you can delete this context here. So we just have input here, then our order pizza intent will be output. I think using this method, you won't be confused on what this is all about. So we simply want to match this confirmation intent to our order pizza intent. So we'll create an input context for it, then provide the same input context as output context for our order pizza intent. I think it's pretty clear now. So let's save it. Then we are going to do the one for no. So then everything will be clearer. Okay. All right. So let's hold on a minute. My internet is slow. Okay. So we simply click here to create another intent. So like I said, this class is going to be a bit long, so I'll try to wrap up in 20 minutes. So right, so I've created a new intent, item confirm and no. So this will match the negative confirmation from the user. Okay, so I'm still going to provide the input context to the item, okay, so that I don't have to be creating different contexts for things that means almost the same thing, because we are just looking at confirmation. So the confirmation can be yes or no. So if it is yes, it's going to match the item confirm yes that we just created previously, and if it is no, it will match this, right? So once you've provided this, it's now time for us to provide some training phrases. So we can go ahead and delete this. So we just have it as input, and the output will be our order pizza intent. So what are the different ways a user can say no? So you can say no. I'm going to just make it as fast as I can. It can be no. It can be no. What's happening? Sorry about this. Okay, so I've provided some few training phrases, so I'm going to leave it at this. And then we have to specify the same parameters, okay, that we used previously. So we can specify the pizza toppings, okay, just to reiterate. So I'm going to do 2 or just 1. I'll do 1, then of course you already know how to do this. Okay, pizza topping. So this is a custom entity, and to call it I have to use the pizza at pizza topping. So I'm going to specify a value for easy reference, so which is the pizza topping. Okay, so then remember that the user has already provided this parameter, so there is no point asking the user to specify these parameters again. So we can just make use of the default values. Okay. So we can make use of the default value. So we'll put a hash, then we call the context, which is item, then we use a dot to connect the parameter name, which is pizza underscore topping, and that's all. So click on close. So I'm going to pause this video and do it for the remaining 4 parameters, so that we don't take so much time. Okay, so I've gone ahead and declared the remaining parameters. So now we can specify a response. Okay, so once the user says no, this is not, don't confirm this, so we can ask the user, okay, then we can call the name of the user by simply saying $, the name. Then we ask the simple question, what would you like to change? Would you like to change? Okay, so maybe there is something that is not correct that the user might want to change. So simply say okay and the name of the user, what would you like to change? So once we're done with this, let's click on save, then we can text our agent. So I'm going to pause this again so we don't have to take another couple of minutes, because any time here is valuable for us. Okay, so we can try our agent by simply saying I would like a slice of beef pizza. So let's try to ask in a specific form. So I would like a slice of beef pizza. So let's wait a minute. So okay, how many? So let's make sure that our parameters are matched. Give it a moment. So you can see that the parameters are matched. The slice there, which is the size, and the beef there. So it's requesting for the number of pizza. So let's say 2. Let's say 2. So let's see what else. Okay, tell me your name. My name is Charles again. Okay, so enter your phone number. I've done that, so click enter. So I can just go down to the parameters to make sure everything is set. Okay, everything is there. So we'll now get a response. Great, Charles, your order, you just ordered 2 pizza of beef, and is that correct? Okay, so now this is to confirm. I have 2 options to either say yes or no. So let me try to say no and see what will happen. No. So when you can see the context here is matched, okay, and this context happens to be linked to 2 more intents: the item confirm yes and the item confirm no. So the one that will be triggered will be based on my request here, what I enter here. So if I enter yes, the other one will be triggered. If I enter no, this one will be triggered. So let's look at it. So I say no. So let's see what will happen. So you can say, okay, Charles, what would you like to change? Now, this on its own will prompt us to create more intent, right? So the change intent for, because the user might decide to change the toppings, he might decide to change the size of the pizza, he might decide to change his name and so on. So we can create an intent for all these changes, but I'm just going to create one for you, and you are going to use the same understanding of what I did to create yours. So I'm going to create another intent for the changes. So what can I change? Can, so just click here to create an intent. Okay, so let's give it a minute. So let's say this intent is to change the toppings in the pizza. So I'm going to say, write the name topping underscore change, right? Change. Okay, so then I'm going to create a context, okay, so that anytime this thing appears, okay, what would you like to change is going to match another context, which is this one, or for the size underscore change, or for name change, and so many other parameters that we have. So I'm going to use one context for everything, okay. So the context, we can call it change. So we'll just make it an input context, then provide this particular change context as output context to the other pizza intent, okay. Or we also make it as output context to the item confirm no intent, okay. So which will give us this result. So we'll provide some training phrases on how the user can say, yes, I would like to change something in the toppings. You can say, actually, can I get a beef pizza instead? A beef pizza instead. Okay, he might say, give me a moment. Okay, so I've gone ahead to create more training phrases, okay. So because of time, I'm going to stop at 4, but you can add more. So the user can say, get me a ham, which is a part of topping. So as you can see here, so the user can say, can I have chicken instead? Or I would like to change the topping. Actually, can I get beef pizza instead? So we're going to make this required. So since we are only changing the toppings, okay, so we are not going to set this as default. We're going to write a different prompt for it. Okay, I hope the concept is clear. So in the prompt, we can say, what toppings would you like to change to? Would you like to change to? Okay. So what happened? Give me a moment. So I'm going to just define it. Okay, so I have declared a prompt for this parameter here, which is what topping would you like to adjust it to or to change it to. Then I've also declared the other parameters. I've listed the remaining 4 parameters. Now, since we are only changing the toppings, it is ideal for us to maintain the initial values for the remaining parameters. So we are just going to follow the same method, okay, like we did in the previous intent, by putting a hash, Okay, so to get the previous parameter, then we use the item uh, intent, item context, okay, and the name of the parameter. So this is size. So we'll close. So I'm going to pause this video and do it for the rest. By now you already know how to do it. So okay, so I've set the other parameters to the default parameters, right? So in the response session I simply said alright, then the name, okay, gotten from the previous parameter the user entered. We have changed your topping to the new topping now. Okay, so is that right? Now this, of course, merely looking at this will trigger the confirm intent. So for this thing to work now, first of all we need to save it. So we're going to get rid of this, just provide the input context, right? So we're saving this. Now for this to work, for us to link this topping change to the other intent, we need to provide this input parameter here, this input context, as output context to the various intents, right? The order pizza intent, the item confirm yes and item confirm no. So in case if any of these things aren't matched, in case if yes or no are matched, those various intents will be triggered. Okay, so it's very simple. We provide the change context as the output context in the other three intents. Okay, so we'll do that before we try this, because as it is now, it is not going to work until we specify it. So we can go back to our intent. So let's just save it first. So you come to the order pizza intent, click on it. So once it opens, you come to where you have the output context and introduce the change context here. Okay, so this is it. So once you do that, you click on save. So once you click on save, you do the same for the item confirm yes and item confirm no. You simply come to their output context and add the change there. So that's all. So once you do that, you save. I'm going to pause this and do the rest, then we'll test. Okay, so I've done that for the confirm yes and no. So let's see how this now works on integration. So we'll try to integrate it with you can do that for your web demo, but I'm going to use the Dialogflow messenger. Okay, so it's also a very cool way of integrating your agent. Okay, you can just copy the link and paste in a website. Okay, if you have a website, you can just copy the link and paste, and your agent will be active for use. Okay, so why is it slow? This is the one we're going to use. So you toggle this. So you know this is the one you've been using before. So you continue using this, okay, for your assignment. So this one, what we're going to use. So this is how it is. If you have a website, you can simply copy this like this, paste on your website, and you have your Dialogflow messenger active. So we can click on try it now to see how it works. So I think once we're done with this, we end this lecture. So sorry is long, but it was necessary. Okay, so we had to cover this. So if you have questions or challenges executing everything I just showed you, so do well to let me know, and I'll be available to assist you. Okay, so this is how it opens up. Okay, so if you just copy this link and paste it on your website, you are going to have an icon like this on your website, which is now ready to use. So we can start texting. So it starts with this. So we can start by making a small talk. How are you today? How are you today? Okay, so this doesn't take time. I'm just having challenges on my internet, and this doesn't even take up to 2 seconds. So by the time you say how are you today, you can see the reply of your agent. So we can go ahead and order our pizza. Let's say I would like to order a pizza, a slice of pizza, of chicken pizza, so it has to be specific. Pizza. Okay. We can specify our name. My name is Charles, and my number. Okay, yes. Since we didn't provide training phrases for this, I think it's going to be difficult for it to identify names, right? So we can just go with this first and allow it to make requests for parameters. Okay, so it's prompting for how many, so we can go with 2 or 5. We can go with 5. So because this is taking so much time, I've gone ahead and after putting 5, he requested for my name. I added Charles. Okay, please enter your phone number. This is it. Then I have a prompt to confirm. Okay, Charles, great Charles, you've ordered 5 slices of pizza, of chicken pizza. Is that correct? Now, since we've tried the intent for confirm yes, let's try the one for no to see. So I can say no, so I have to see what will happen. So I'll just say no. So this is weird. Okay, so you can see our agent says, okay Charles, what would you like to change? So we can say actually I want to change. I want to change okay, I want to change to a ham, for instance. So let's see what we'll get. Okay, now it's not prompting for the size, so we can say size slides. Now, oh, there is a slide problem. Okay, we're going to fix it in our next lecture. So where I set the default value, I was supposed to use the change dot, the parameter name, instead of the item. Okay, that's why it's requesting for the size now. Okay, but no problem. You can see. Okay, so like I said, we're going to change that in our next lecture because we don't have so much time. Or you can change it yourself. Just go to just the way we did item dot the parameter name. You under the topping dot change, topping underscore change, you replace item with change. Okay, that will stop your agent from requesting for these parameters again. Meanwhile, I've already provided it. Okay, the number is this, the phone number is this, my name is this, and the change was adjusted. Alright, Charles, we've changed your topping to ham. Is that right? So by the time we say yes and see, so that will now trigger the confirm yes intent. Then we'll be good to go. Okay, so you can see our agent replies with alright. So everything is now set. So we've looked at a lot today. So try to go through it again, okay, over and over. If you have questions, do wait to let me know. And in our next lecture, we are going to continue from here. We're going to fix the few bugs we have, which is trying to prevent our agent from asking for this over and over again. Okay, then you can try to apply this technique to your own bot, which you've already created for your assignment. And I'll see you on the on next week's lecture. So until then, stay safe and enjoy conversational AI. Bye.